Okay.
Okay.
Well, hi, everybody. I'm numerologist Sue Coffin, and I'm here with my dear friend Dorothy Morgan, astrologer in New Hampshire. And she reached out to me this week to inform me that Mercury retrograde is again around the corner. So we are here to get together to try to decipher what's up, what's
Yeah.
going to happen.
Hi, Sue. I like
Hi,
doing this. It's always
I do
fun.
too. I do
Yeah.
too. My
Yeah.
people love it when we get together.
Yeah. And just for those who see this on my YouTube channel, yes, Sue Coffin and I do this every quarter. Actually, Mercury retrogrades 3 times a year. And her folks are not astrologers. And if you're following me here on YouTube, you probably follow astrology. So we do our best to keep it nice and simple. And if I go over the edge, Sue will say, "What?
Yeah, I
What
do.
does that mean?"
That's right.
Which is perfect because, I try to, you guys know me. Some of you do. I try to do down to earth basic,
Right,
even though I can tell you some of the real deep stuff, which we don't go into here because
right.
nobody
So that
knows that.
happens to me when I'm doing
Yeah.
my readings. So I
Yeah.
understand completely.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have, in the first in the year when this happens, it's pretty regular. Um, Mercury retrogrades 3 times a year, and depending on where it begins in our calendar year. So this calendar year, so for the next 3 Mercury retrogrades, which is 2021, it's going to be retrograde in the air signs. In 2020, it was retrograde for the most part. It sneaked out a little bit, but in the water signs, which was like emotional,
Mm,
right? Ooh, that was
yeah,
emotional
yeah,
year.
yeah.
This year, they are retrograding in the air signs. And they are starting with January 30th. I'll give you these dates. You can write this stuff down.
All right.
But we're starting with Aquarius because that's just the time of year that we're in. So soon. It hasn't quite shifted. I'll shift on the 19th of January. So we'll be in the Aquarius time frame. That's the first one this year. And so generally speaking, and then I'll get specific, when we have, this is the year of the air sign, Mercury retrograde, Mercury in the sky, his natural placement is an air sign, which is Gemini. So what this does is it highlights for all of us the attention that we need to pay, how we need to pay attention to the information that we're gathering and the
Yeah,
information that we're told. Excuse me. The air signs are about information, our intellect, communication,
right.
social endeavors, social environments. We're having, we're still all in the whole world, everybody's still kind of locked down. Information isn't always clear for us. And so when we have this theme for the year, this is just one of the themes. It's that we really need to address, where am I getting my information from? I know this seems pretty logical with the political situations that the way they are, but where am I getting my information
Right.
from? What is my truth? Everybody has a different truth. And how you want to analyze that and process it.
Okay.
And for people in the world who have just been really grounded in the physicality of what's going on around them, the air sign energy that's really strong in 2021 is here to help us to release some of that so we can up our game a little bit. I don't
Yeah.
try not to get too woo-woo here, but we do need to, wherever you are on your understanding of the greater picture, we're all being asked to kind of step it up. And
Yeah.
it's different for each of us. And it doesn't matter if I'm here and you're here, or I'm here, it doesn't, that's
Right.
not the point. Stepping up and just learning and educating yourself in something that's important.
Right. It's an individuality thing.
Absolutely, because we are all processing
Right.
what we see in the world through our own filter. And
Right.
our own filter, of course, is our chart, it's our life circumstances, all of those
Right.
things. So there's quite a bit there. So I had somebody reach out yesterday or a couple days ago and said, oh, I heard Mercury's already in its shadow. What does that mean? So can I not do stuff? And I'm like, no, no, it doesn't mean that.
Right.
Pop astrology is going to tell you it means that Mercury retrograde, you shouldn't begin new things, and you should always be really cautious. And sure, why not? But the shadow means where it is in the zodiac, where it's going to retrograde, right? The numbers.
Oh, okay.
So where it is, for example, the one we have coming up, it starts January 30th. Here's a little bit of sciencey astrology.
Yep.
It retrogrades at 26 degrees of Aquarius. All right. And then it retrogrades all the way to February 20th, all the way back to 11 degrees of Aquarius. Retrograde means it's going backwards, just as it's an illusion.
Yeah.
So the shadow means, okay, when is Mercury at 11 degrees before he retrogrades? So when is he at 11 degrees? So when he's from 11 to 26 to 11 back to 26. So when he's not retrograde, it's the period that he's going over those numbers that are going to get hit 3 times. And that actually started yesterday.
The 15th.
The 15th of January is when it started, when Mercury was at 11 degrees of Aquarius, which was the day before we recorded this, which was January 15th is when it's in its shadow. So what does that mean? It is not something to be overly cautious about. It just isn't. Some people make a big deal out of it, but it's not. Now, if it's impacting and transiting in your chart and connecting with certain very specific things, then this time period is important for you.
That's
you
why
as
it's
an
important to
individual.
get a reading.
Always,
Let
yeah.
people know.
Yeah. So where these retrogrades are, if you've ever seen the shape of an astrology chart, there's like 12 pieces, right? 12 spaces. They're called houses. And where is that retrograde right now? That's the area that you're going to focus on. For example, 10th house, career sector. And you're out there and you're giving your boss or sharing your information with people. And so now Mercury's shadow, it won't be retrograde until the 30th. So what does that mean? That means you might need to redo some paperwork. You just think about it, just looping back around to make sure you get everything done. And that's what it actually kind of looks like in the sky, even though the planets still don't go retrograde. They look like they're making a loop. And they all retrograde except the sun and the moon. So it's not uncommon. Mercury 3 times. He's the most often. So he's the little trickster. He slows us down. He slows us down so we can make sure we have the information that we need. And I say information, especially this year, because it's in those air signs. Air signs are about information. So the most intense days are the days of those stations when it's changing direction. So a day on either side of January 30th. So January 29, 30, 31, that's when the planet does not look like it's moving at all. And then February 20th, a day on either side. All right. Those are the days where we may feel frustration. Those are the days that we really shouldn't like launch like big, huge projects because you're going to miss details. So if you have things to do, we have to sign contracts. We can't not work 3 weeks every 4 months. I mean, you can't not do that.
Right.
So
you can be cautious. You can be cautious. And that, I think that's what everybody needs to do.
Yeah. And he does. He goes retrograde for 21 days in this period of time. The next one we have will be in Gemini on May 29th to June 21st. That'll be 24 days. And the third one in this year is September 27 to October 17. That will also be 21 days. So he moves quite a distance, 15 degrees on 2 of those. And one of them, he only moves 8 degrees. So the thing is like, that means he's covering a lot of territory. And so he's in Aquarius. So what does this mean? Aquarius is our social media, and we're seeing all kinds of people being booted off of social media. I'm not just talking about the president. There's hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of people that have been shut down by this corporation. That's Aquarius is definitely Twitter. It's Facebook. It's all of them. It's all the social media, right? So we're going to see that, and we're going to see probably some repercussions. It's just typical stuff, because when Mercury comes looping back around, And when the sun gets in that sign too, we're going to definitely see the rise of what social media is going to look like now. It's in a mess at this point, and there's going to be some sort of, outward explosion of sorts, not literally, and then a reset of some kind.
I'm smiling because the universal year for numerology is 5. And what is 5? It's all about communication.
Is it really?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. I did not know that. I asked you if we would talk about that, just a
So that's
smidge
why
for
I'm
our group.
smiling. It's,
Oh.
that's part of my notes, Dorothy.
Oh, no.
Social media, news.
Oh my gosh.
So that,
Wow.
but that just goes to prove that this all works together.
Yeah.
Astrology, numerology, tarot, all those things, we all work together.
They are. We have our own ways of doing it. I mean,
Correct.
I know you and other numerologists do you add your numbers up a little differently, still come to the same conclusion, but there's just, and there's plenty of different styles of astrology. I mean, I do regular Western astrology, tropical zodiac, but there's other kinds that people do, and it works for them too, because really they all work,
Right. They
It's
sure
just
do.
what you're attracted to is what you're going to be. So for again, and for those folks who really don't know what this means, it basically, even though I tried to explain it, basically just means like during that retrograde, don't be fearful. Take that retrograde period and just and do what research you can. I'm trying to learn new things on this computer every day. I was just trying to figure out how to put some pictures together. My daughter and I have an Etsy store, and we sell these beautiful heart pendants, right? And Valentine's is coming up. And I was like, well, how can I make a little video? I don't know how to do that. And so I put it in PowerPoint, and I'm doing the research, and I figured it out. That's Aquarius stuff.
Right. I know you don't have to think huge.
No.
It's the little stuff that is teaching and you're learning, and yeah.
So if you need to, if you're interested in where that is for you, along with other things, we have some heavy hitters this year in Aquarius, but wherever you find me, if you find me on Sue's channel, then just, Dorothy Morgan Astrologer.
I found my reading and it was wonderful.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, I reviewed it not too long ago, just so that I could be in touch. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to do that because we always talk about so much. I mean, in an hour, or an hour and a half, whatever it is, it's like, you want to record. I tend to, I'll do Zoom, and you can record on your computer, or I have a conference service. But so tell us, if you will. So we went from 2020 to 2021, so 4 to a 5, right?
Right.
Universal year.
And 2020, it's all about being practical. It puts boundaries around you because it wants you to be disciplined. It wants you to be focused. Yeah. So did it do it, huh?
That was the conjunctions of Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto in Capricorn. Want you to be practical and just really streamline things because being almost a minimalist, and it is about boundaries. Saturn is all about the boundaries.
So it just latched us, put us right into a box. Well, it wants you to strip down and understand the basics, right? It's about taking chaos and making it a structure, systems. But when that becomes unbalanced, you start to feel it stuck in a rut. Yeah. Which, boy, we all were doing that. Yeah. Worries, and you worry about everyday stuff more than you did. This is when it becomes unbalanced.
Okay.
Honesty is huge for the number 4. And when that's unbalanced, what happens? Lies, judgmental, just chaos.
Absolute chaos. Yeah.
Yeah, it becomes, and the boredom, because nothing's moving. It's just stuck. Right. Now, health is part of the 4. And a lot of times when I'm doing my readings, it's usually because you're working so hard. You're trying to get everything organized and focused on it. So, I don't know if you had any signs of health, but we knew that there would probably be an increase in the influenza, we thought. We had no idea where it took us. No idea.
So
Oh,
Just to reiterate, just quickly, not to interrupt, but the air signs are where we're having retrogrades this year. I mean, that's your lungs. It's
oh, yes, it is. That's
breathing.
right.
You need to
Yeah.
practice that. If you're not aware of your breath, you don't have to, go too deep into breath work. Breath work wakes people up. I had a
Right.
client recently, and she didn't know anything about any of the metaphysical world whatsoever. Very, very straightforward religious. And she decided, because of COVID, as a practical person,
Yeah.
she has lung problems. She went and found somebody that could teach her breath work.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden she started waking up. So
Yeah.
now she's like doing all kinds of things, just like exploring astrology and metaphysics and
Oh, that's very cool.
because of the breath. So
Yeah.
with the air energy that's so strong this year, of course, we have this massive pile up on February 11th of Aquarius energy with the new moon. So that's the beginning, really use your breath
Hmm.
and practice those deep, real diaphragm
Yeah.
breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
good.
interesting. Very interesting. So now 2021 is the 5, and what's that all about? That's about freedom,
Yeah.
change, expansion.
Mhm.
What it really wants from all of us is to learn to be adaptable and flexible
Yeah.
with the flow. Don't try to swim upstream, because there's going to be some changes this year, and some are going to be unexpected.
Oh
There's
yeah.
going to be surprises come
Yeah.
in, so we're all going to have to just go with the flow. And the sad thing is, a lot of times people don't want to change, right? They
Mhm.
fight it. So there's going to be some people that I think it's going to be hard for them this year.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Social media, right there, big letters, networking,
Mhm.
um, communication. If it stays balanced, we're okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna get better. But if it doesn't stay there, there's going to be a lot of chaos
Yeah.
within that. And I suspect it's going to be a little bit of chaos before we can get it to the
Mhm.
right
Yeah. We're just
where we want
starting.
it. Yeah,
Yeah. It's just,
where we need to have it. And
yeah.
also the internet. I think there's going to be some things going on with the internet too, because
Mhm.
that's communication, right?
It is. Yeah. It needs to get bigger.
They've got to
What,
do something. They've
yeah.
got to.
Yeah. The expansion of it has to get even bigger, because what we've already gone through, from March of last year until now, I mean, it's just, it's gotten so much bigger than what it was. And a lot of the little, of course, internet companies couldn't keep up with it. The bigger ones could, but not the little ones.
Right,
And yeah, that's expanding even more.
right,
Yeah.
right. And
Yeah.
that's what 5 wants, is expansion.
Yeah.
Freedom is about travel, moving around, right?
Mhm.
So I don't know how that will work, whether there's new senses of travel that are coming in. Are we going to start space again, or
Going to
um,
Mars.
go
Going
to
to Mars.
Mars? Yeah.
Going to
Or
Mars. Yeah.
are we going to be locked down again on the planes, or is that going to lift and we're all going to be able to go to fly? I
Yeah.
don't know, but it will bring in communication and travel and expansion. Now, if it gets unbalanced, there's too much risk taking, because 5 likes to take a risk, but then you can overdo it, right?
Yeah.
And it can cause a lot of restlessness. It's very fast-paced energy, so you have to be careful of accidents in this
Yeah.
year, because we don't pay attention. We're just moving all the time, going with the flow.
And I can give you a time frame for that if you like, because that's when Jupiter enters Pisces.
Oh,
Jupiter's in
oh,
Aquarius right now, so he's pushing the boundaries.
yep,
Saturn in Aquarius is saying we're restricted when we have,
yep.
and I'm not going to let you have your freedom yet. But then when Jupiter enters Pisces for a little while this year, that'll be May 13.
Oh my gosh,
Pisces.
that's crazy, because I think April and May are going to be very interesting months. I have that written down.
And he will remain in that sign. He retrogrades. He'll remain in that sign until he retrogrades back out, and that's July 29. So half of May, all of June, really all of July, Jupiter in Pisces is just going to be like, there's a lot about it, which I don't want to get into, but it's like nilly willy, just all over the place.
Yeah,
That's
it's
when, like,
chaos.
all of the conspiracy, not that you can ever prove a conspiracy
Mhm.
theory is real or wrong or right or not. You
Right.
can't prove that stuff, but there's something is going to,
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
artificial intelligence too, Sue, artificial
Yes.
intelligence, whatever is going on that we know of now, is, we don't know anything yet, but that most likely will be something that comes out of this year,
Yeah.
is like real artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's
Yeah, it is
almost scary
crazy.
if you watch any of the Terminator movies. It's like, oh no, don't do it.
I do anticipate there's going to be an increase in drugs and alcohol problems,
Mhm.
because 5 has a tendency of overindulgence.
Yep.
So there's going to be a lot more problems with that. I
Mhm.
worry about the vaccine. I worry that there might be a recall or something to do with that.
Hmm.
One of the biggest things is the fear of change. People are going to be fearful. They don't want
Yeah.
to change, so they're going to try to hang on to things, and that's swimming upstream.
Yeah.
That's not going to work. So the
Things
big,
break. Yeah. You
yes,
hang
you got,
on. When you hang on too long, it'll just break.
yeah, it's not good. So,
Let's not do
and
that.
April and May, I think, are very significant in this year. And
Yeah.
universal year is collective consciousness.
Okay.
And that's calculated within the personal year energy, personal month, personal day, all that energy. So
Right.
we all carry a little bit of this energy.
Mhm.
But it's going to be a
Well,
very interesting year.
yeah.
But we
Damn it.
have to make change. We have to
Another
make
one.
change. We have to. So,
Yes. And that's what
um,
the Aquarius energy wants as well. Just like you said, the 5 is about that. We need to, it's more social, especially Aquarius. And again, Jupiter, Saturn in that sign, they came together December. So everybody saw that on the news and out in the
yeah,
sky. And that, that begins a whole new era of
right.
them coming together for the next few hundred years in air signs. Every
Uh,
20-ish years, they make Jupiter and Saturn come together. They did it back in the 1980s, just once in Libra, and they were in doing it in oh shit, I don't remember which one it was, but anyways, they were doing it in another element. But now they're beginning officially, they're staying in the air signs as they conjunct every 20 years for the next 200 years, a little more than 200 years. So
wow.
yeah, and that means intelligence, electronics, just all of these things we see as science fiction
Yeah, it might not
is
be science fiction anymore.
no.
We can
Even some
cross
people
out the
even
fiction. Yeah,
I know exactly. It's
yeah.
yeah,
Going to be
exactly.
very interesting. But I think the biggest thing is just to all stick together. Just
Hmm.
just and um, the boundaries are going to leave us. We're
Yeah,
not going to feel that restricted so much.
yeah. It's
So
gonna, it'll lighten up. It will. It's
it,
just
it
gotta.
will lighten up. Yes, it's just we got to let the changes come in.
Mhm.
I'm really looking forward to 2022
Yeah.
because that's the year. That's the 6th year, and the 6 is about healing.
Oh, wonderful.
So we have got to get through all these changes, a little bit of chaos, and the risk
Hmm.
taking that's going to happen, and
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Yeah.
just
Aquarius
hang in.
always wants that is willing to take that risk because it wants that independence and freedom
Yeah,
from the old ways of doing things.
right. And
When
that's old
Uranus,
thinking too. Old
very old
thinking.
thinking.
Let go of that old thinking.
Yeah.
Let's step outside of the box a little bit
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
at least listen. Right now, a lot of people aren't even listening. Blah, blah,
Mm-mm.
blah, blah. But
Yeah.
at
They
least
got
listen.
I know. So the old paradigm is needing to leave, and it won't be instant. It won't be instant. It takes
Right,
time. It's
right.
going to take beyond 2024.
Yeah,
But this year we have Saturn and Uranus coming together, and that's the pushing of boundaries. That's the breaking down of the old paradigm, the old ways of thinking
yeah,
and doing things. But when we're in that intermediate stage, which is this year and all the way through to 2024, but this year we're talking about,
right.
it's Saturn and Uranus making a 90-degree angle to each other. So they're constantly going to be pushing each other's buttons, if you will, saying,
Yeah.
all right, I want freedom. No, we're restricted. I'm
Yeah.
afraid.
Yes.
No, I want to let go. So it's going to be a tug of war within ourselves. So find that. The first square is February 17th. The second one is June 14. And then the third one is December 24, 2021. So it's just, this year has its challenges. It's not like 2020, because that was just like a shocker. We're
Right.
all still walking around.
Right.
Many are still walking around like, what has
Right.
happened?
The extroverts, especially.
Yeah.
Introverts, not so much. We kind
Yes.
of pulled back, and it
Good.
was what it was. But
You're right. That's true. I didn't even think of it that way. I knew plenty of people. I mean, for me, I'm just here, and I had life changes just because of family stuff, but it was like, wow.
are
Yeah.
you an extrovert?
No.
No, me either. And I was like, well, okay, another day at home.
Yeah.
This
Maybe
is
if I have a couple drinks in me, if I'm out and I have a couple drinks in me, I'm just going to be talking up a storm. When that's the truth of my buddies who know me that way. But no, I mean, staying home. Yeah. I'm home for days on end, and I
it
talk,
doesn't bother.
but
Yeah,
doesn't bother me a bit. I have no
right.
problem with my own company ever.
Yeah,
And then when I'm not home, I'm out in the woods walking or on the
yeah,
beach.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
I love
know
it.
we're lucky because the extroverts really suffered through this. And I'm sure you saw that. I saw that in my
Yeah.
readings, people
Yep.
coming through. And
Yeah.
so I think in the 2021, that's going to give them a little bit of a boost.
Yeah, thank goodness they need
Yeah,
it.
they do.
Everybody needs it in whatever way they need it. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah, boy, oh
Okay.
boy.
Wow.
Awesome.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Dorothy.
you.
If anybody's interested in having your numbers analyzed, you can go to healingnumbers22.com and get
Mhm.
you sign up for your reading right there.
Awesome. I'll put it in on, if this is on YouTube, I'll put it below in the where I keep all my content about how to reach me
You're
as well. So
wonderful.
I'll put your link in there too.
It's always good to talk with you,
Awesome.
Dorothy.
Great talking to
Lively
you.
conversation.
Always.
Wonderful.
We could
Thank
talk for
you.
hours. Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.